In October 2023, 12 brave and beautiful mermaids gathered on the Capricorn coast in tropical central Queensland. Their mission was to photograph and produce a 2025 Mermaid Calendar to help raise funds to promote and support Not Putting on a Shirt Day. Together they boarded the ferry to Great Keppel Island and began an adventure of a lifetime. Not Putting on a Shirt's main mission is to advocate for a satisfactory aesthetic outcome for those who choose to go flat. They inform and support patients, demand increased accountability from medical professionals and institutions. They also collaborate with patients and the surgeons who care for them to establish resources and protocols that will make a difference.
When COVID hit 3 years ago, it really kind of put a spatter in the works, and because we were probably going to be shooting somewhere in South Australia, probably Kangaroo Island, where I was staying at the time. But because of all that going on and can't go anywhere and all that, yeah, it got halted. But I think in the end, everything happens for a reason, and we're here now in beautiful Keppel Island, and it's beautiful.
In the autumn of 2021, Mermaid Caroline's life took an unexpected turn when she received a diagnosis of lobular breast cancer. Every day brings new challenges and triumphs, but through it all, she has remained steadfast in her pursuit of joy and vitality. Her journey is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of embracing life's twists and turns with courage and curiosity.
So I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2021 in November, and I had a single mastectomy back then, and I had an expander being put in so that I could do a reconstruction operation later on. Then I had chemo, radiation, and I was booked in for my reconstruction operation and another mastectomy on my other side. And while I was waiting for my operation to come up, I did lots of research around implants and the potential effect that it can have on your health. And then I decided that I just didn't want to take that risk. And therefore I decided to stay flat instead. So I cancelled my operation and went back to my breast surgeon and then booked in for a flat closure double mastectomy. I really enjoyed just being part of this group. It just kind of gave me hope, gave me energy, just something positive to concentrate on while I was still waiting for my operation. And it also kind of clearly showed that there is life after a double mastectomy.
Cindy was super excited to travel to Great Keppel Island for the Mermaid Calendar shoot. Her photograph for the calendar is absolutely stunning, as she perfectly transformed into our beautiful mermaid of love and light. Sadly, Cindy passed on 7th July 2024. She lived in Bartlefrere, Queensland with her partner and 3 sons. Cindy worked as a support worker before her diagnosis, and she will be greatly missed by her family, friends, and mermaid sisters.
Okay, so I was diagnosed in March 2022. It's been pretty much a roller coaster ride still. So I've gone from stage 2 to stage 4 in a matter of 5 to 6 months. Yeah, so everything's just up and down. Each day is a different day, you just take it as it comes. I've done the chemo, the surgery, after surgery, and as well as radiation. I've had that done a few times now. I'm a latecomer to the group. Like, this was organised 3 to 5 years ago. And so, yeah, they were missing a couple of mermaids. So, yeah, they advertised on Flat Life Australia and BP replied, and I'm a mermaid.
Yeah, well, getting to know the different personalities has been really good. There's quite a variety in our group, and everyone's very opinionated. So, yeah, it's been quite good getting to know them. I think some of us are more comfortable with certain people, and yeah, the group that I'm with in the hotel has been really good because we're sort of a quieter bunch. We're not so rowdy. So it's been really good for me because, like I said, I still get tired and I need to rest. And they're allowing me to do that and making sure that I can get to and from where we need to be. So yeah, they're being quite good.
After losing her mother to breast cancer as a teenager and due to a strong family history of breast cancer, Mermaid Pascal decided to have a prophylactic bilateral mastectomy to reduce her risk of breast cancer. In March 2020, Pascal had the implants removed and she chose to remain flat. Inspired by her own journey, she teamed with Coastal Mermaids to help plan and organize the 2025 Mermaid Calendar.
The conception of the calendar came about because I had a client of mine, Pascal, come and see me every year with her little girls to have mermaid shoots. And I saw her whole journey with cancer, having the expanders and then getting them removed because she got extremely sick, and then going flat and deciding to stay flat. So I wanted to do a calendar that showed that, it's okay to stay flat and it still feel feminine and beautiful, and yeah. Okay, so when the selection of the mermaids was started, well, Pascal basically helped with all that because she's part of a few different of these flat groups on Facebook. So she basically put together, we'd already done a shoot together with her being bare-chested. So she used that image and her story, put it out on Facebook and find all these different models that were willing to do the same thing and share their stories as well.
Mermaid Julie was diagnosed in 2019 with a grade 2 ER/PR plus cancer in her left breast, which was removed via a lumpectomy procedure. In 2023, the cancer returned again, and it was advised that she get a single mastectomy. Julie chose instead to have a double and stay flat. After 1 year, Julie can honestly say that she loves her body and is embracing living life as a flat woman.
In November 2019, I went for my first ever routine mammogram, and that was only because my sister said you can actually have them before you're 50. So I thought, I'll just go and have one. I think I was 47. Then went for a mammogram and they found a few little dots on the mammogram. So they did a biopsy and found that it was cancer. So they did a lumpectomy and they wanted to do radiation, but because they had got all of it out with the biopsy and there were no cells at all in when they did the lumpectomy, I opted out of radiation and instead had 6 monthly ultrasounds. And I just got to the 3-year mark and I thought, okay, they said 2 more years and then you'll be cancer-free. And then in February this year, they found it back. They're not sure if it was the same one or a new one, but a cancer again. So this time they said a mastectomy would be the best option. And I said to them, well, if you're going to take one, take them both. And at first they said, why would you want to do that? And I said, well, if it's come in one, it's likely to come in the other, and I'd rather be symmetrical. So take them both off, and I don't want reconstruction. But they must have to talk you through it anyway and give you that option. When they said I would have to have a C cup and nothing smaller, I just went, no way. Because for me, I hate wearing a bra anyway. I wasn't a very big girl. So I thought I would feel more comfortable just staying flat because that felt more natural for me. And so I had the operation just in May, end of May, like 3-4 months ago. Loved what they did. They did a brilliant job. Aesthetic flat closure, perfect scars, and I'm really happy with it, and I'm glad I made that decision. And I haven't needed any chemo or radiation or anything. I am on tamoxifen for the next 5 years, but everything's gone great. And I feel awesome.
Almost feathers.
Mermaid Katrina's world fell apart in 2018 when she was diagnosed with her 2+ breast cancer at just 37. Katrina couldn't believe it because she didn't smoke, drank only occasionally, and was an avid sports person. She actually played junior hockey for Australia. Katrina immediately put her job as an economist on hold and started her cancer management journey. Katrina decided to use her skills to help other cancer warriors and started the Know Your Knockers Breast Cancer Pocket Guide and selling her own range of pocketed fashion under the brand KYK The Navel.
Katrina is an amazing lady. She pretty much put her hand up to house half the women for this whole weekend. She put forward the idea of Keppel Island and how beautiful it was, and that's how kind of we came about with the location. And plus it was like a little bit more of a holiday but working at the same time, so everyone feels a bit more relaxed about it too, so I think that was a bit of a plus.
So in 2018, I was diagnosed with stage 2B HER2 positive breast cancer. And as part of that journey, I underwent chemotherapy, a double mastectomy, and radiation. And now, almost 5 years later, I'm in remission, and I'm very thankful for that. I'm very thankful for a great team and great, medicine in this country. We're very, very lucky. I think everything is a personal decision. So I don't think it's about going flat versus reconstruction versus, one boob, two boobs, whatever it might be. I think the real question is to do what feels right for you. Don't feel pressure to get a reconstruction and don't feel pressure to remain flat. Do what choice you're comfortable with and you think you can live with. For me, going flat was the best decision that I made, and the reason for that is because at the time it was the least invasive way of doing things. I guess it meant that I spent less time in hospital and more time with my kids, and I've been able to embrace that. But at the end of the day, it's a personal choice. I don't have I'm not one of those people who will say, I don't think you should get a reconstruction, or I think it's a more preferred option to go flat. At the end of the day, it is a personal decision, and I don't think anyone should feel pressure to go either way. What I can say is that going flat is an important part of that decision making. So it is an option, and I think for a lot of people, they haven't been given that option, and I think that's really sad, because it's something that I think we need to embrace and we need to move forward with, because there are a lot more people that got it flat now and choosing to go down the route of getting implants or fat transfer or things like that. So I have always been a big part of the breast cancer community. I have my own range of mastectomy bras called KYK The Label, and basically through those connections, I had some girls reach out and say, look, would you like to be part of this Mermaid Calendar shoot? And at the beginning, probably because I was so close to my journey, I was quite reluctant to come on board. I was still probably, finding the challenge of breast cancer really difficult. But as time went on and I kept in touch with the girls, they talked to me about the possibility of me coming on board and doing this shoot in my hometown of Yeppoon. So it's been really, really nice.
She's just done an amazing job with helping keep everyone fed and looked after and travelled around, and her partner as well. He's been amazing with helping carrying all this luggage and tails and everything else that comes along with it. So yeah, it's been great.
In 2019, Courtney discovered a lump during a routine self-exam. On April Fool's Day, her biopsy was performed, and within 48 hours, she had her answer. Early-stage breast cancer, high-grade DCIS. Exactly a month later, Courtney's mastectomy was performed, revealing that she was so very lucky. The cancer was removed from her body before it had a chance to spread. Knowing how to perform a self-breast exam resulted in early detection and treatment, which she will forever be grateful for. Courtney knew she didn't want implants, so she decided to embrace her flat and fabulous era.
So I was diagnosed with early breast cancer in 2019. I had my breast removed at the time, but I had to fight to get the second one off. The surgeon didn't offer flat as an option from the start. They only pushed reconstruction. It was difficult because they made me wait 10 months to get my second breast off when I wanted it done, one and done. Well, it affected my mental health greatly. I lost 19 kilos between my two surgeries, which is a lot. I guess it just made me question my decisions as a woman because the surgeon wouldn't let me make decisions for my body. I've found a wonderful group of women that are also flat, and I can finally see that there are plenty of other women out there like me, which I didn't realise that 4 years ago when I was diagnosed. And it's taken connecting with women to find out that there's hundreds, if not thousands of women in this same situation, faced with these same decisions every day, and we don't get to make the proper choices because we're not informed properly by our surgeons. My biggest advice is get on Facebook, join Facebook groups, talk to women in your situation, because we can't trust the surgeons or the doctors to give us all of our options. We need to connect with our women around us and really discover our options. And that's hopefully what this calendar will do, show women everywhere that flat is an option, and it's a very valid and acceptable option. So we're shooting a Mermaid Calendar for International Flat Day, and I was first invited to the project 3 years ago by Pascal. I was very pregnant, and I was one of the ones that got one of the first shots. And I've stayed on board because I'm so passionate about giving women choices. That's what it comes down to me. I want to give my daughter the choice. It's not about what she does with her body. I've met some amazing women like through Fifi and Pascal and Mel and Laura. We're starting to create a safe space for flat women in Australia that we can all chat and discuss the difficulties of flat life.
Laura was diagnosed with cancer at 31, and it has given her a courage that she had never possessed before. Laura remembered the day she found out that her breasts had to go, and she even remembers the time. She was counting down the days to have them removed and was both excited and scared. People often ask if she struggled being a woman and not having breasts. Laura did struggle for 12 months while having just one, and she couldn't wait to have the other removed and finally be able to swim at the beach topless just like the blokes. Even though Laura's had to experience countless surgeries and is still dealing with health problems, she has not once been unhappy with how she looks when her shirt off, and is a passionate supporter of not putting on a shirt.
Obviously, the initial diagnosis was a complete and utter shock, with no family history, being quite young, and I guess the peak of my fitness, to then, being told I only had a matter of weeks before the cancer would have killed me. So straight into having the double mastectomy. Initially, the quick time frame of it all I guess I just kind of went with what was happening and what I was getting told. But, 4 years on, it's been a struggle, but more so, not so much my appearance now. It's taken a long time to be able to be comfortable again, but more mentally, like mental health. So I'm not as, I tend to stay at home. I tend to not associate with many people anymore. And so this is a big thing for me, being here. And I guess I'm doing it to prove to myself that I can still do this stuff and it's wind over matter. I do believe that depending on the diagnosis in what time frame you have, and I mean, a lot of oncologists and stuff will promote about, it's up to you. Like that was said a million times to me. But yes, it's up to me, but what is it that's saving my life and what's going to be more beneficial? So being told that obviously removing the breasts is going to give me longer, I initially took that. I do, on the other hand, though, understand and appreciate, everybody's self journey and what they would prefer. And there's no right or wrong. It's the quality of life that's sometimes just as important, or if not. So, I mean, the only advice that I could give is wear your scars proud. Walk around and show people that, no matter how hard it's been and continues to be, I'm still here and I'm still a beautiful woman, and breasts don't dictate who I am inside or outside. It's a part of our body, and you know what? I had them. They were beneficial for my children. They serve their purpose, and I don't need them now. And they saved my life.
Mermaid Marissa needed to do a radical mastectomy, so there would be full clearance. Her surgeon said the right breast was clear of cancer, but there was a chance it could come back, so she opted to remove both. After the surgeries, Marissa was working at a school, and the kids kept asking her if she was pregnant, so she got a bra fitted with prosthetics and wore it for 12 months. Around June 2022, Marissa hung her bra up and has never worn it again. Marissa has been re-diagnosed metastatic and continues to fight each day. Quality of life means everything to her, regardless of whether you're flat. It's all about time, which you cannot get back, so make the most of it and create forever memories. Marissa is true to her word, and we caught up with her and her family while enjoying time together at beautiful Lake Somerset.
So when I got a message off a friend, Katrina, that we've been mates for, probably 5 years in this cancer journey, I did see that there was this calendar happening to be a mermaid. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be involved, message. And she's like, oh, we've got everyone. And I'm like, oh, boo. And then I get a message saying, we have a spot. Are you keen? And I was like, holy shit, yes. I'm doing everything in my mind to do it. See, I've only got one tattoo, and it's of a mermaid. And my whole life was all about mermaids. I loved mermaids. I got mermaid pictures everywhere. My hair was like a mermaid. My daughter was infatuated with mermaids. So for me, it really wasn't about being flat. For me, it was about being this gorgeous mermaid that I'd always wanted to be. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get pale. I'm going to be able to I was ecstatic, over the moon. I'm like, husband, I'm going to go be a mermaid. And that was it. Bang. I'm going to be amazing. Guess what? I'm going to Great Keppel Island. People are like, what? To be a mermaid? I was like, it's for a flat calendar. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, yeah, remember I'm flat. Because that's the thing. People probably forget that I'm flat. But it's important to continue to reach that. It's okay to be flat because you can be normal. So if you need to if you accidentally, or not accidentally, but if you get caught up in this cancer world and you have to lose your breasts, it doesn't matter. As long as you're healthy and as long as you can continue to do the things you exactly want to do, because on my must-do list, people have bucket lists, will-do lists. Mine was must-do list. When I got re-diagnosed with cancer in 2022, I was like, now I'm metastatic and they tell me I'm terminal and I'm going to die. When she told me that she's fulfilling, like legit, she's given me this opportunity to fulfill one of my must-do wishes. Like, I was not emotional as in like crying, but I felt like I was internally crying because something was like, that's something I really wanted to do. And I was like, I'll get to it. I'll just do this for the kids and that. And she goes, oh, yeah, you can be involved. And I was like, holy shit, I'm actually going to be a mermaid. And then when I saw the photo, because I said to Fifi, don't make me look fat. Okay. Like, I know I'm flat, but don't make me look fat. I don't care with the photos, and I'm doing all these photos, and I was like genuinely nervous because I was like the last person to be filmed on the day, and I'm running around. What am I going to look like? What's my tail going to look like? And she said, oh, you're the sun goddess. I was like, stop it. That is me. I love the sun. I love being out. And yeah, so I can't even really wrap my head around a word to nail down the experience that I had. Like, it was amazing, fantastic, whatever you could say. Like, it was just unbelievable for me. And when I saw that picture, I legit cried. And I am not an emotional person. I park it whenever I can, but I cried. She made me look like an absolute goddess. And it just, I get goosebumps thinking about it now. So when I was diagnosed 6 years ago, it was like this kind of like, I don't know. There's so many analogies around it. You could call it a whirlwind. You could call it a wave. You could call it like an emotional ripple effect of, is this real? Like, you just don't really know what's happening. So I think in my case, I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to tell everyone. And I just launched it all over Facebook. So I kind of put it out there and said to everyone, guess what? I've been diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer. I didn't even know what metastatic meant. I didn't even know what benign meant or malignant meant. But I put it up on Facebook, had a photo with my daughter, because it just so happened that that morning their school did like a morning tea for people with cancer and breast cancer. And I'm like, perfect way for me to kind of put it out there to the world. And when I did that, I kind of thought to myself, I actually didn't even realize how it would affect anyone else. I just kind of went, I need everyone else to know what's going on, because if people aren't aware of how to find breast cancer, or if people aren't aware of, oh, I have a gene that could cause breast cancer, how the fuck are we going to prevent it? Because we spend so much time around breast cancer, raising funds, raising money and all the rest of it. But if we don't early detect it, then I think I'm worried that more of us are going to die that unnecessarily need to die because we're unaware. I think when the decision time came to, you've done 6 months of chemo, you've lost all your hair, you've lost your eyelashes, your toenails and fingernails have all fallen off, you've totally lost your whole identity, and now we're still going to go in and do a double mastectomy. I was kind of like, all right, let's just do it. He said to me, you don't have to do a double because your other breast, there's actually nothing wrong with it. What do you think? And I looked at my husband and he goes, look, you do what you think's best, babe. And I said, you know what? If the cancer's got an opportunity coming back because I've kept this breast, that's bullshit. I'm taking it off. Let's get rid of it. I just don't want any involvement. No more. Just remove it off. The tricky thing for me was when I went in for the double mastectomy, I'd never had any surgery before. So they said, any allergic allergies? And I went, no, I'm not allergic to anything. I went in for a double mastectomy and woke up in ICU with one breast off. And that was an absolute destruction in itself, because we thought, well, the doctor thought I was allergic to the blue dye that they put in you to see if there's any actual cancer in your lymphatic system. And because that did come up, he knew he had to do a full clearance. So he had made the incision to get the breast come off. went in to go get all the lymph nodes out, and I've obviously anaphylactic and gone into, like, basically died, as they said. And I was like, what? So the surgeon did the right thing by deciding to just take one out and do me up, and I suppose they gave me all sorts of bits and pieces to wake me back up and take me to ICU and find out what was wrong. That was a rude shock because I thought I was going in for a double mastectomy and I woke up with one breast still there. Look, the reason I went for the double mastectomy, which was the original question, is because I didn't want to have any more cancer left in me. I didn't want any opportunity to have any more cancer at all. And which is why I made the decision to have a total full hysterectomy as well. It took me a while to sort of re-love myself again. Like, I actually tried to wear like a bra that had these breasts in them that you got through, I think it was Tracy G and Wollongabba. You know, you paid the money and you got some money back through Medicare and stuff. And I wore them because I was working at the school at the time, and kids were saying that I looked pregnant because, you know, I had these big boobs and then I had no boobs. And I thought, what am I going to say? I can't tell them, oh no, cancer took them, or because they wouldn't understand that, or oh. So I started wearing these fake breasts, which were heavy and shit and sweaty, and hated them. And I was like, no. After 8 months, I stopped wearing it. And I was like, I'm flat. Who cares? I should just embrace who I am. No one gives a shit what I look like, realistically. That was all in my own head and my own mindset. So for me, I was just being, I don't know, finding a way to just re-identify myself and become a new me. And since, because my journey has been over a 6-year period, so I haven't been doing this getting over stuff for 6 months, it has been a really sticky, tricky sort of way that I've sort of gotten through it. And I've found a way to just really park the emotion and not deal, people would say, and just keep going on and making the most of each memory, each enjoyable moment, and trying not to think too much about what anyone thinks or says. Just do me.
Mermaid Mel's family has a long history of cancer on her dad's side. She was advised to get tested for the BRCA1 gene, and the test came back positive. In 2020, just before COVID-19 hit, Mel had a mammogram that came back abnormal, and after an ultrasound and an MRI, it was discovered she had stage 1 triple-negative cancer. Mel had a double mastectomy at the end of 2020, and today she is living her life on her terms and has thrown all her vibrance and energy into the theater.
It started when I was about 34, 35, and there's a history of cancer on my dad's side of the family, of breast cancer. So it was suggested that I went and be tested for the BRCA1 gene, and it came back positive. So I then started surveillance, basically. So every 6 months I'd have either an MRI or a mammogram. So that went on for about 4 years, and unfortunately in 2020, my mammogram came back abnormal. So I was called back to have another one, and then I had a ultrasound and MRI, and they found stage 1 triple negative cancer. So this is just before COVID hit, this all started. So 2020 wasn't a great year, obviously. I then had a double mastectomy in December 2020. So we're coming up 3 years now of basically not having cancer. It was not something I thought would actually happen to me. I was more concerned about getting ovarian cancer because having the BRCA1 gene being positive, that puts you at higher risk. And I did consider a preventive mastectomy, but it's something I liked, though. I liked my breasts. It was it's something that I didn't want to change about myself, but then I had cancer and I didn't have a choice because it's too high risk for it to come back to keep anything. Yeah. I met Pascal back in 2019. I went to some Pink Hope fundraisers, and I have a few of her prints, and then I was in touch with her after my diagnosis, and I said to her, well, I'm not going to get a reconstruction. I'm not going to get implants or anything like that for the time being. And so she asked me, so I'm one of the originals, she asked me quite a long time ago, or a couple of years ago, if I'd be part of it. And I thought, well, that's different. I'd be happy to take part. Yeah. It's nice to be around people who understand. I mean, everybody's experience is different, but it's just nice to be around people the women who have an idea how you feel, and I have an idea how they feel. And I haven't been around a lot of people around my age. You know, I've been around a lot of older people who've had breast cancer, but not a lot my age, because I was 38 when I was diagnosed. Where I live, there's not, we have an older group get together once a month for a lunch, like those who've had breast cancer. So it's just been a really positive experience, just meeting new people and feeling at ease around them, having similar experiences with certain medications and feelings, and you don't feel as alone, because it feels really lonely sometimes. And it's not something that you say to a friend, I feel really lonely with how I am, because it does change you externally and internally. Yeah. So it's been great meeting all these ladies, definitely. Listen to your doctor. Surround yourself with caring and supportive people. And don't push anyone away. And you can keep things private if you want to keep it private. Like, I never posted anything on social media until I had just about finished my chemo. I told my close friends, but it's not something I really, because I think I was in so much shock, I didn't want people to think I was looking for sympathy, because I wasn't. Because I've always been an independent woman, and having people want to help me with things, and I found that difficult because I like to be the one to help people. Yeah, I had, my uncle bought me a wig, and just people gave me money. They didn't need to do that, and I got so many gifts and cards and flowers delivered. It was like a gift shop, and I'm so grateful for those things. And it's I didn't expect anything, but just be willing to receive, basically. When people want to help you, listen to your doctors. Ask lots of questions. Don't Google everything, because I Googled thinking, I'll just have to have a lumpectomy. No, I had to have a whole mastectomy. So I tried to bargain with the doctor. He's like, can't I just have a lumpectomy? And he's like, no, it's too... He said, I could, but it's too risky of it coming back again. And that, you don't want to lose your hair all over again, or go through chemo again, because chemo is very hard, emotionally and physically. Yeah.
I am a collector of perfectly broken things. As I wander the shoreline contemplating how to tell my story, I spy something in the sand. Another broken piece from Mother Ocean. I close my eyes. I listen, feel its story, and for a moment I drift away on a beautiful journey. For a moment I allowed myself to be broken like the tiny shell in my hand. There were tears, and there was anger. There were days I stood on the shore screaming at my ancestors, "This stops right now, no more." I'm certain those who witnessed those days thought that's one crazy lady. And perhaps I was, and that's okay. It was during those days I was learning who I was, awakening a force to be reckoned with, a journey of self-discovery, as many women before me and after me have done and will do. Then came the calm, the peace, like floating in the ocean on a summer day. The soothing water wrapped itself around me, filled with acceptance, hope, and love. For this mermaid, I have closed the door on cancer. It won't define me nor consume me, and continue to live my best life unapologetically my way. No one cancer journey is the same, but the one thing we all have in common is hope, and it's hope that will be with you every step of the way.
I kept my promise to my little humans that, they didn't need to worry, that, I've never let them down yet, and I wasn't planning on letting them down now. So they were all okay, and I'm quite lucky in that my girls know that I'm okay, and as long as Mum says it's okay, it'll be okay. I didn't want them to worry or, have anything other than to continue their lives, because to me, that's the most important thing, life. So, single mastectomy, prophylactic, new job, all of those things all happened within the first 30 days of my diagnosis. And even my employers were really supportive, which was really lucky. I sort of gave them a get out of jail free card. They didn't have to take me on, but they did. And have had nothing but support from, my circle and everyone that I did share. I didn't tell a lot of people, believe it or not. I'm quite private. So it was a need to know basis, because it was my journey. It was all about me and how I wanted to handle it. That's exactly what I've done, is just handle it my way. And a positive way, and just grateful for the opportunity to actually share some of my story. Everyone's stories are different and unique. With every story that you will hear in this documentary, we all had one thing in common, and that was hope and love and support and the determination not to give up. That was a no-brainer for me. Like I said, I've done my research, and had a lot of time to prepare for the day that, cancer was going to come knocking on my door. It wasn't a matter of if it would, it was when. And I had made my decision to go flat a long time ago, not a long time ago, but a while before. I'd done my research. I really wanted new boobs, having great big beautiful double Ds. They're a nightmare. And all I wanted was some nice little perky ones that would sit there. But then reading other people's stories about, infections and the ins and outs of all of that, it wasn't going to be for me anyway, because I don't have time to sit still and do that kind of stuff. So going flat for me was the best option. I had to battle with the surgeon to begin with, but once I explained why flat was the best option for me, he thanked me for making his job so easy, which speaking to other people, they were blown away at. For me, it was a better recovery. It was just a better outcome, I just wanted to get back out and live as quick as I could. So I did that, operation on a Wednesday, out dancing on a Sunday. It's the kind of girl that I am. Life just went on for me. I didn't give cancer a chance to drag me down before going flat. So to me, not wearing a shirt on the beach was perfectly normal. I went away from families. I don't believe that little people need to have to be explained something that they're not ready to learn about. Part of the beach was, it was my part. It was private. And I actually had some teenagers one day come up and sit behind me going, what's that? Is that a male or a female? And I sort of lied there for a bit thinking, I'll just lie still, don't say anything, don't cause a scene, God knows what they'll do. But they kept sort of going on, and I thought, bugger it. So I stood up and, a little bit bold, because I'm bolder now than I was prior to having my surgery. And I sort of stood there really angry, but really confident. I went, this, and pointed to my scars, is what you hope that your mother never has to go through. So what I want you to do is go home and tell your mother what you saw today and have a conversation about that, because I don't want your mother to go through what I've just been through. and sat back down feeling quite chuffed with myself. That was, really hard, but I really hope that those boys one day think about that crazy lady on the beach and go, well, I'm glad that, my mum or my sister or my partner, whatever, never had to go through that. So if I've changed one life in their thinking, that's a bonus for me as well. But most people are really accepting, kids don't have boobs. So what? I think anyone that knew me prior to me going flat, that knows me now flat, know that nothing's changed. I use my flat story when I'm talking to some people that might be going through difficult times in life to get, if they can't do something, or, it's too hard, or they've got this or they've got that. And I go, well, I've got no tits and it hasn't stopped me. So what's stopping you? People don't really know. I mean, you can't tell, can you? It just looks like I've worked out at the gym, nice flat pecs. That's all. Being single, and, I decided since going flat that I was going to put myself back out there in the dating pool. Now, that's a different kettle of fish, if you've ever been on that journey. And so you could imagine, as an absolutely gorgeous single white female going, oh, and by the way, got no boobs, because I think it's a really important one to bring up straight away, so that, there's no surprises and there's no judgment, but it also helps to judge a human's character. So I've met some really shallow humans, and I've met some really gorgeous men as well. But I do have a beautiful human in my life, and for that I'm really grateful. And my GP actually had said to me, when I had gone flat, he said to me, you know what, I'm really worried you should get reconstruction, because no man's ever going to love you. Or you know what, someone does love me. Kepler was just absolutely amazing. To meet the other 11 mermaids and Fee, who brought the calendar together beautifully, and yourself and Glenys, what an opportunity. How many people can get to say that, they met some inspirational humans, that you all had one unique thing in common. And it wasn't, to me, cancer. It was that we all had hope and we all had courage. And that weekend, created beautiful memories. It taught me a lot more things about other people and how to hold space for other people. It opened so many other doors for me as well, since doing the calendar with Fee. A few months later, I had the opportunity to go to Sydney with Tisa, who was also on the Mermaid shoot, and we did a lingerie shoot with a beautiful lady in Sydney who wanted to make beautiful lingerie for flat women so they could still express who they were. So the calendar and that opportunity and the connections that I made through there, will stay with me forever. And I tell my calendar story over and over again. How lucky are we? The calendar is coming out on the 7th of October, flat day 2024. The calendar will be for the year of 2025. That it will be launched for pre-order in August, and the profits for that will be going to Not Putting On a Shirt, which is an advocacy group in the US which advocate for women in the US and here in Australia too now, to create an awareness that going flat's okay to start with, but then connecting those women to support networks that with like-minded people. So 7th of October 24, make sure you buy a calendar.
Mermaid Peta was diagnosed in 2022 with grade 3 stage 3 ER plus invasive breast cancer. She was advised to have chemo first to try and shrink her tumor to improve any surgical outcomes. A single mastectomy was recommended, but after speaking to her mom and looking at other women's stories, Peta decided she wanted a double mastectomy and to remain flat. She found that she was exhausted by the chemo and didn't want any further surgeries or medical intervention beyond what she needed for her cancer treatment. Now that treatment is over, Peta wants to focus on being with friends and family and doing the work she enjoys. And of course, doing all of those things without boobs.
Well, shooting the calendar was a great experience for me. I was about 6 months out from having my double mastectomy and my cancer treatment, and I was feeling quite raw and vulnerable, and was really struggling to adjust to the new me, so to speak. And when you're going through cancer treatment, your world gets quite small. And I just found the opportunity to go to Great Keppel and be around these wonderful people really helped me come back out of my shell again. And it really helped me to feel that even though my body was now different, my life was now different, you could still have a great time, enjoy yourself, and revel in now being, free of the disease that I'd kind of been with for quite a few months. And I think the thing that really touched me, and this was probably a unique experience for me, was seeing how much love Fifi put into creating the look for each mermaid. You could tell that she'd put a lot of time and thought into it. And what she actually, my little mermaid persona was that of the sea scribe. I had these wonderful little props of a quill and an inkwell, and I was putting a message in a bottle. And what Fifi didn't know is that I'm actually a writer. That's how I make my living now. So I just found that so touching, and I was really blown away. And then meeting all the other lovely mermaids has been so great for me. I didn't know anybody else who'd gone through cancer outside of my mum, so it was really nice to have other women I could talk to about it. And then seeing the end result, the photos and how wonderful they look, just made me realize that yes, my body does look different and my life is different, but I still look beautiful, and still brings a tear to my eye actually when I think about it. It was a wonderful day. When I was first diagnosed, I was obviously quite shocked. I'd been quite healthy and it wasn't something that I was expecting. I just started a new job that I really loved, and I just finished shooting the first TV commercial I'd ever written, and all these great things were sort of happening within my career. So it was kind of like I felt like I was really sort of making steps in a new area of my career. So I guess I felt quite blindsided by the diagnosis. But I was very fortunate in that I could talk to my family about it quite easily. They were all very, very supportive, having, as I mentioned earlier, my mum had gone through it, because everything just happened so quickly. And I was really fortunate in that I've got a very supportive family, and I was able to talk to them quite openly about it, as my mum had gone through breast cancer about 12 years prior. So I spoke to my siblings and my parents and my husband, and of course our own children. With our kids, we didn't go into a lot of detail. We just told them about the diagnosis and that I would be going through chemotherapy, because naturally they're going to notice something like that. So we just gave them what sort of information we thought they could handle. And after my first chemo treatment, and I started to notice my hair falling out, my older brother rang and said, let's have a shave party. So my brothers, my sister, my dad, my son and I, we all shaved our head and made a great day of it, all got together for lunch and took some hilarious photos of us all looking rather bald. And I found that a really great support. I didn't feel quite so alone. And I think another thing that really surprised me, well, not so much surprised me, but really comforted me was a lot of the parents from our kids' school really reached out and helped. They helped get the kids to school, they helped cook meals. I would wake up some mornings and there would be food dropped off on our veranda that we weren't expecting. Some people helped with grocery shopping, and just really making sure that we felt supported. And yeah, I was just really blown away by the people that sort of turned up when you least expected it. And it was wonderful. Making the decision to go completely flat is a deeply personal one. I think one of the deciding factors for me, well, there were several. First of all was how quickly my tumour appeared and how it got quite large quite quickly. And I knew I'd have to definitely lose one breast. Even though I had chemotherapy first, even after the chemo, it was still quite big, and I knew I'd have to lose one breast. And then my mum is a uni boober, as they say. She's had a single mastectomy. And after seeing her manage her life really beautifully with that, I thought it would suit me more to have a double mastectomy. So I spoke to my surgeon about it, and I said, look, I've seen life as a single. I think having a double mastectomy would suit me. I also am absolutely petrified of it coming back because my tumour just seemed to come out of nowhere so quickly. I think it was like within 6 months of my last scan and being told I was all clear, I had a 7-centimetre tumour. So I really wanted the option to go flat and reduce my risk of a reoccurrence. Yes, things are different, but you made choices for your own health and you made choices to basically survive, and that's okay. And it doesn't have to impact every area of your life for the rest of your life. And I feel like Fifi really helped me realise that it doesn't matter. You've made the right choices for you so that you can be healthy and be there for your family. So I've made a lot of friendships from the calendar. The thing for me is that learning that every woman's story is very different. You might hear the word breast cancer and have a certain picture in your head of how it presents for every unique patient, but every woman's story is very different, and there's always something to learn and there's always something to appreciate. And I've met some very brave women, some women who are really, I think, embracing not only the changes their bodies have gone through, but also creating memories that last with the people that they love. And I've been really grateful for that experience. So the Mermaid Calendar is going to be, you'll be able to pre-order the calendar from the 1st of August. Then we're going to be launching it on October 7th this year in 2024 on International Flat Day. And the calendar is being put together to raise funds for an organisation called Not Putting on a Shirt, which is an organisation that helps educate not only women but also healthcare practitioners about remaining flat after a mastectomy and the benefits of that, and how to do that in a way that women come away feeling empowered. And it's really going to help Not Putting on a Shirt update their global resources and help women access surgeons who can do a great job at a flat closure and helping them to feel confident and beautiful if they've chosen to remain flat after a mastectomy. I guess the only other thing I would say, if I wanted to say something, was just to remind women to check their breasts, to trust their own intuition, to really get to know their body and really understand the risk factors and what they mean for them. And don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to push your medical team if you're worried about something. And if you're in the position where you need to choose, or if you have to have a mastectomy and you're unsure where to go from there, just to reach out to the organisations that have the information and to be strong in your choices.
Having lived so courageously with cancer for several years, Mermaid Tisa passed away peacefully on the 25th of January, 2024. She was pragmatic, dignified, and cheeky until the end. Tisa lived in New South Wales with her partner and daughters. She will be greatly missed by us all, especially her partner and daughters. Tisa was pragmatic, dignified, and cheeky until the end. Rest in love.
So I was diagnosed in 2000 and I think it was 18 or 2018 or 2019. It was February, and I was breastfeeding my youngest child, and I found a lump that sort of popped up overnight, literally. So I went to the doctor. I just assumed it was mastitis for a little while, so I spent a month or two sort of trying to massage it out. And then I went to see the doctor, and by that time it was Christmas, so you know, waited another month and saw the doctor, and he sort of said, I don't really know what this is, so we better go and get it looked at. And it sort of was, as soon as I went in for the ultrasound, it was just bang, 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 like ultrasound, and then literally they brought me in for a mammogram and then a biopsy that same day. The doctor actually said he was going to stay back and do the biopsy because he knew it was urgent. So that was a bit scary. And then that was it. Within 2 weeks, I was in a chemo chair. So we had, I went and saw a surgeon, and they did chemo first. Then we did surgery, and I actually had implants put in, and then I had radiation with the implants in, and they got infected twice. I had different, what were they like? Different things to try and get rid of the infection, but it didn't work. So I went back to see her, and she said, oh, well, that's fine. She goes, what we can do is stick you in hospital for a week, take out the implant, put in like a washing machine implant for a week, and you can just sit here and we'll rinse out the whole cavity. I was like, I don't want to do that. I've got 2 kids at home and I'm not interested in doing that at all. So in the end, we decided that I would just stay flat. It wasn't really an option given to me at the beginning, or I probably would have looked into it a lot more, but it was kind of just, we do implants, or you can use your own fat, and these are the meetings that we're going to have with you. And I did say to them at some point, or I could just do nothing, and she's like, well, yeah, I mean, you could. And that was the end of it. So until that point, I didn't really know that I could, that it was a serious option. And then I started researching into all the different scar lines and all that sort of stuff. And at that point, and she was very good. She was very happy to do it when I said, look, this is my decision. She said, okay, that's fine. She did say, but I did a great job. And I was like, yeah, you did a great job, but I don't want them anymore. So yeah, that was sort of where it all started. And then I was on a few things here and there. That took a year. And then unfortunately it has come back. So I'm on a whole heap of other stuff now, but so far it's managed. So hopefully it just, as long as it stays stable, I'm okay with it. Just being around, but it can't grow. Don't grow, don't move. So when I decided to go flat, there was, you Google stuff, and the Facebook page came up. And from there, I joined the Facebook page, and I saw Pascal's post about the mermaids. And I was like, I'm pretty outgoing and not sort of shy or anything like that. And I thought, oh, that might be fun. And she might not pick me, but I'll put up and say, yeah, I'll put my hand up. And I got in. So yeah, yes, and especially the ones in New South Wales. Which is lovely. There's one in Sydney, which is not far, and there's one up in the Blue Mountains. So they're actually people I can go and see, which is lovely. And then there's a few that you just go, well, we'll stay Facebook friends and we'll see how it goes. But it is also difficult because I'm still on my journey and will be, and they're finished. So sometimes that there's mixed feelings there. Yeah, it has been fun. Yeah, no, it's something different, and getting away from the kids and the family and the everyday school run and all that sort of stuff. It's been really nice to get away and come somewhere different, because this is not something I would normally do in my everyday life. Yeah. Just to start, I would say the first thing that you need to do is call the McGrath breast care nurses, because you can self-refer yourself to them. You don't need a doctor's referral to talk to them. The other thing that I would say, my dad gave me some really good advice. He's a doctor, and he just said, look, you make sure that you trust your team, because you don't want to be, under anaesthetic and have them make decisions for you. And then you go later, oh, but I wouldn't have done that. I didn't want that. Or if it comes back, you can, if you blame them or whatever. Like mine came back, but I 100% know that my team did the absolute best that they could do for me, and they are still my team, and I trust them implicitly. Like whatever they say goes. So I think that's really important, that you trust your team, and if you have any doubts in your team, you need to go and look, get some second opinions on things. Then you need to be in alignment with the team and what they're doing. So I think that would be the best advice that I got, really.
Yeah, the whole Capricorn coast, my God. All I can say, my God, is so beautiful. The ferry ride was like a roller coaster, so that was fun. But oh my God, the whole Keppel Island, the locals that live here, everyone has been so lovely, so generous as well with helping with everything. It has really felt like a lovely little community that would just drop their hat for everyone and everything. Like it's wonderful. So with the calendars, I think we will be doing a digital version, and we'll also do a hard copy version for people to get. And yeah, this is all proceeds are going to be going towards the Not Putting on a Shirt foundation. To spread that awareness that going flat is okay, and you can still look beautiful and feminine without those breasts on your chest, basically. Once this one's finished, at the start of this, I kind of thought I don't want to do this again, because it did get a bit stressful with COVID and everything, and having to find new models halfway through too, because some had to drop out. But after this whole weekend and seeing how much joy that this whole process has brought some of these ladies, I actually think that I would do it again, but maybe next time I do fairies.
But